Cryptocurrency halving. What an odd term. You're chopping things in half, so you come up with a new verb called halving. It really is what we're doing. You know, recently I had to go through a large amount of old currency, and I'm going through it trying to sort it out, and I came across a series of $5 bills. And the $5 bills, I had different versions of them. You'll see the very bottom one there. That is the most current one. It's got a green seal on it. The picture of Lincoln is much larger than the old style. And then you see the one above it is a 1976 version. It's got a blue seal on it. And you'll see that aspect of it. And then lo and behold, above that, you'll see an older version of it. And not only does it have the seal that's red, because there are some older versions that have the seal on the right-hand side that are red, but this is even older. It's got the red seal on the left-hand side. You know, they're all $5 bills. They should all be worth $5, but they're not. Okay, the difference is the scarcity of it. Less is more in the aspect of the fact that there's almost no red seal $5 bills with that seal on the left-hand side. So collectors think they're highly valuable. You know, you can sit down there and go spend that $5 bill any place you want. But if you go to a special place, a place called Collectors, people that love collecting old coins, old bills, that $5 bill at the very top with that seal on the left-hand side is valued, depending upon the condition of it, between $30 to $52 for a $5 bill. That's 10 times the actual face value of the amount. Less can be more because there's less defined of it with that red seal on the left-hand side than all the other ones out there. And yes, they're all supported by the same origins, the Federal Reserve System, except for the fact because it's rarity, because it's hard to find, it makes it more valuable. The same thing really is the concept that is behind this whole thing of halving. And halving, you reduce the block rewards of the miners after a period of time. So the miners are out there, they have their machines going, they have giant, vast warehouses full of computers. The computers cost thousands of dollars. You too can buy a couple, stick them in your house and have things cranking through if you want to, and different aspects. But keep in mind, you're competing on a worldwide market and people running machines. Bitcoin, for instance, really is probably the most popular aspect for mining. Keep in mind that Bitcoin is based upon a proof of work system where the computers are out there trying to solve a mathematical problem. That means the computers have to work to solve it. Later on, other generations, the second and third generations of cryptocurrency, like Ethereum, they now operate on proof of stake, which is a different methodology than solving the mathematical problems. But let's talk about the halving aspect of it, which is what the topic is here. So with this thing, they're going to reduce the value. Whenever the miner sits down, they solve a problem. All of a sudden, I solved the problem. And they don't just get a couple of pennies. They get Bitcoin, in this case, for our illustration, at 6.25 Bitcoins for each problem they solve, and they add another block to the blockchain. They solved it. It's put out there within a few minutes, less than half an hour, almost continuously now, okay, that is verified, and all of a sudden they get 6.25. That's well over $100,000. That's a nice reward. Takes an awful lot of work, takes a lot of energy, so it just depends. And then miraculously, in April or May next year, in 2024, boom, it happens, and it's going to be cut in half. The world will go wild. The newspapers, it could be, according to the Wall Street Journal, reads the headlines, Bitcoin could top $100,000 a piece. It might, because cryptocurrency is all about risk. The higher the risk, the higher the value. And oh my gosh, it'll be less is more. I got to have it. And it'll almost for sure at the halving, as it has every single time, the price goes up in the process. You reduce the supply, okay, until the maximum supply of the coin is reached, then all of a sudden, boom, it becomes more valuable. That's the intent of it. It works pretty good. I thought it was only confined to Bitcoin until I started studying for this topic. And all of a sudden they find it's not just Bitcoin. There's a whole series of them that have this out there. And frankly, if you're going to come out with a cryptocurrency of your own, I'd advise you to put a halving aspect of it and make certain I get a couple shekels in the process over here to make certain that I too can sit down and have some Bitcoin myself. So with that being said, halving helps achieve the reduction in supply of new coins. It leads to scarcity and increases the value of the coin, and it's programmed right into the base code. It can't be stopped. Literally, Bitcoin originally, when it was programmed at the very root of its foundation, has a code in there to automatically have a halving schedule. And the halving schedule, it happens about every 4 years. It depends how much Bitcoin is traded. So for instance, okay, the Bitcoin miners are rewarded with new coins when they add the block to the chain. New blocks are added about every 10 minutes. So boom, another block, solve this problem. And they come out about every 10 minutes, they solve a problem. The rewards are halved after about 210,000 blocks. It takes about 4 years to mine this number of blocks. You'll notice there's Bitcoin at the top. When we talk about trading Bitcoin, it's called BTC. Okay, that is the 3-letter designation for Bitcoin. And you'll see different variations of it, but every type of cryptocurrency has a designation. So keep that in mind for future reference. Since its launch, Bitcoin mining rewards have halved each time, about every 4 years. The next one is scheduled for April or May 2024. There's no set date because this is not based upon a date. It's based upon an estimate as to how many blocks are mined. So with that being said, it's going to almost for sure be sometime in April or May 2024, and then literally you'll see it change. Today, at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is 6.25 Bitcoins per block. So when a miner gets one more block to add to the chain, the blockchain for Bitcoin, they get 6.25 Bitcoins. In 2024, whenever that happens, boom, that's going to happen just like that. When the 210,000 Bitcoins are mined, 3.125 Bitcoins per block, almost for certain there will be a spike in the price of Bitcoin around the time of that actual change. It'll become more valuable because people perceive value as rarity. So with that, you'll see an entire impact on the whole industry. Who knows, it may hit $100,000 a coin. I anticipate it going up dramatically. Probably as we approach closer to April and May, it'll probably go up. But you know what? In the world of Bitcoin, if we recall back, I call it a roller coaster, the roller coaster of cryptocurrency. Who knows, it might drop even. I doubt it, but who knows what'll happen with it. Litecoin, its halving looks a lot like that. It works a little bit different. So it takes about 2.5 minutes to add a new block. Now, by the way, that's significantly different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin takes about 10 minutes. Okay, this takes 2.5 minutes to add a new block. So you have a faster way of accumulation. The rewards are halved about every 840,000 blocks, which is a lot more than Bitcoin. So Litecoin, notice the notation LTC, it happens about every 4 years. It'll take about 33 halvings to mine the 84 million Litecoins that are out there. So you have that out there. Following this launch, the block reward was 50 Litecoin. So after the launch, the block reward used to be 50. So now we're down to a little bit different time. So after 2 halvings, the Litecoin block reward is now 12.5 Litecoin. So it's a little bit different. Now we have Bitcoin Cash. It's from a hard fork. Previously, we talked about forks. Okay, so this aspect of having a hard fork on the Bitcoin blockchain produced another type of coin out there called Bitcoin Cash, BCH. The fork was to increase the size of the block. So this one is still following the same pattern of new blocks about every 10 minutes. You'll see the number is very similar to the regular Bitcoin of 210,000 blocks. So really, the initial mining word was 12.5 Bitcoin cash, and not unlike the 50 coins like so far. So you'll see variations. You'll see a lot of references that deal with hard forks for Bitcoin. Here's another one, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, BSV. Just another name for the aspect of it, but really what they're trying to indicate when they did this hard fork of Bitcoin Cash. Let's look back over here. Keep in mind, Bitcoin Cash came from the original Bitcoin blockchain. So now you have a fork over here, and now you have another fork off of this one. So from the original Bitcoin, you had one fork, cash. Now you have Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, another fork off of that. So it really focuses on trying to be true to the original Bitcoin white paper. You can see the numbers over here. Have an event every 4 years, like Bitcoin. Okay, the first one took place April 10th, 2020. We're looking at probably another 4 years by the time it hits that, or whatever date or time it takes to reach there. But the rewards, they reduced from 6.5 to 6.25. The next halving is going to take place again, probably within 4 years, maybe longer, depends as to how many coins are mined. The maximum supply is going to be 21 million Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, or BSV. Zcash. All right, another hard fork of Bitcoin. The original one over here, Cash. Now we have Zcash over here, and you have so you have all these forks happening, and that's why really we talk about the forking of the actual original blockchain. You're seeing different variations of it. You're seeing a much more diverse pool, and each one of these coins has a different mission. I recommend before you start investing in these coins, go read what it's designed to do. And each one has a specific focus. This one back over here, Satoshi's Vision, you'll see it's going to follow the original white paper. You'll see this one over here, it really has something different. The transactions are verified without sharing details like the amount, sender, receiver identifications. It sounds like this could be good for the dark web. Okay, so you have that because nobody's going to know whatever I send. So you verify the transactions, but people really can't see the details on the inside. It halves every 4 years. The maximum it's going to have is 21 million. The first one, the first halving event 2020, removed the founders reward, which is kind of an interesting spin because the founders had a type of reward automatically, and the founders probably had to repurpose their money back on the inside of this whole aspect of it. Block rewards, they reduced from 6.25, sounds like Bitcoin, doesn't it, down to 3.125. You see this type of thing happening, especially with the Bitcoin. You'll see the different hard forks of Bitcoin will be very similar to the actual Bitcoin process itself. Another fork on the Bitcoin blockchain. Okay, you think they'd be hungry after a while with all these forks laying around, but anyhow, it permits untraceable transactions. Sounds like something designed for the dark web. Okay, maybe not. I'm certain there's a lot of honest people in the process that are over here, but we'll never know who they are because that's part of the secrets of really the cryptocurrency. Dash rewards reduction. Now, this one doesn't really reduce it by half. Okay, but 1/14. So really you get 7.14% reduction every 2,110 blocks, or about 1.5 years. So with that, they keep on reducing a little bit, and that way the miners are not having that big massive change. They're having a small change, making it more value, but it reduces itself in value in a faster pace than the other ones do. So even though it's not technically a halving, it's a reduction, and you'll see another one in here when we come through. Look at this, another fork in the Bitcoin blockchain. Yes, there's a lot of them. You'll see them in Ethereum as well as other ones. So you'll see that aspect of it. The first halving event took place January 2022. It went from 5,000 to 2,500, and you'll see 21 billion, and its block time is about 60 seconds. This one cranks really fast. So you'll see that happening. So you'll see, who knows when that timeline is going to be, the 21 billion what should be taken over. Bitcoin Gold, another fork of Bitcoin. Okay, so the developer set aside 100,000 coins as an endowment, okay, set aside for purposes, and you have to go back and read the details of it. Halving occurs about every 4 years. The last one was 2020, and that's why 2024, you're going to see an awful lot of things from Litecoin to Bitcoin Gold, all going halves. There is a high probability 2024 will be a boom year for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole, or maybe not, just depends. It takes 10 minutes to mine a block, and the next half is going to occur probably April 2024. Like Bitcoin and Litecoin. You'll see all of them happen at the same time. So boom, boom, boom. 3 major coins out there will be having it within a month apart of each other. It's going to be incredible to see what happens there. Look at this, another Bitcoin fork. Yes, the blocks was increased on this one so you can do more transactions. The aspect of more transactions is a big part of cryptocurrency. They're trying to catch up with the world standard that we see on credit cards. Now, keep in mind, credit cards are a different animal than cryptocurrency, except for the fact that really is a standard that we're trying to sit there and catch up to in the process. If we're going to have cryptocurrency to be part of the daily economy of American life, it's got to be faster than 20 minutes to actually process the transaction. You have to sit down and be able to pop it through on a regular basis very quickly. So you'll see a lot of focus is the capacity or the speed of the actual blockchain as to how we process things. So we'll have a special section on that. So the maximum supply of the coin is 10 times that of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Diamond is physically bigger, okay? But you'll also see the next happening event. Wait a minute, year 2024. Block time reward of 10 minutes, very similar to Bitcoin. So you'll see that happening as well. Ethereum Classic. It's a hard fork of Ethereum, of all things, and it was launched to enable smart contracts and hosts. So really dApps. So we'll talk about dApps later on. It doesn't have, it reduces the miner's reward by 1/5, and it happens about every 5 million blocks. So far, it's changed from 4 to 3.2 Ethereum Classic. So watch Ethereum. In my mind, Ethereum is a huge, giant machine because it's really built on a different foundation than Bitcoin. And it's got that huge advantage of being able to include smart contracts. You'll see a lot of other coins that use an Ethereum base to actually drive them and an Ethereum blockchain to drive it as well. So you'll see different aspects of it. Here's the other ones that I've gone through and found out. Firo, Flux, Verge, TomoChain, Vertcoin, Monocoin, Einsteinium, and Bidem. You'll see those, they're coins that have. I think you should pay attention to the halving coins because they have a built-in methodology as to how they go about making themselves more valuable. Now, also keep in mind, 22,000 down to 8,000 cryptocurrencies. This is a volatile market. There are no guarantees on any value when it comes down to Bitcoins and cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency having dramatically increases value. It plays a role, especially in the year it'll have, automatic increase in values and becomes collector's item primarily, hopefully either staying in cryptocurrency or maybe even your regular fiat money bank account. Take care.